In this episode, there be hot tubs a-tipping, mirrors a-toppling, trees a-crashing, and a rather pleasing salon makeover. Whilst parts of the UK were severely battered by the recent storm, the tail end of it swept the length of France. We weren't in any particular danger here in the Gers, but we still had some clearing up to do. The top half of this willow tree came crashing down in the night. It was a kind of blessing really, as most of what fell was already dead and has saved me doing a tricky job cutting it down. I still have to chop it up and store it, mind you. Jane casually pointed out that the render had fallen off the outside of the chateau in the storm. So, I'm coming to investigate. And she's right. It has fallen off. Again, the storm saved me a job. We knew the render was damaged here, but until now it wasn't on the urgent list. With the new patio section done and the wet weather taking hold, I had some time to get back to work on the wood floor in the guest suite, and I had some new tools to play with. This scraper made quick work removing the thin film of old carpet adhesive on the hearth. I also bought a carbide scraper, which works with a pull motion instead of push. It was really effective at taking the old adhesive and polish off the wooden hearths around. I briefly had a go at using my belt sander to remove the adhesive on the floorboards. The belt gummed up and it was quickly useless. I think I'll have to buy more adhesive remover. Scraping back to the bare clean marble was extremely satisfying. However, the carpet adhesive had been holding the broken hearth together, and now that it's been removed, I may have to find a way of securing it all without causing any more damage. Experimenting with my options, I tried using the carbide scraper on the floorboards to remove the remnants of adhesive. It kind of worked, but it doesn't feel like the best solution. Before I could use what remained of the adhesive remover, I really needed to remove the remnants of the red carpet. The scraper worked really well, but it was a lot of elbow work. I was left cursing whoever thought gluing the whole carpet down was a good idea. I was panicking one morning when I couldn't find the kittens. I thought they'd escaped. And then I found them. Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day at Chateau Pican. Today I'm going to be talking about these plates behind me. So we've got a big one at the top and then we've got 7 smaller ones here. The 7 smaller ones are part of a 12 plate set, and the other 5 are also in the room. They are the full set of plates depicting Aladdin and the Lamp fable. The one at the top is one of, I think, 7 plates with Christmas themes. Obviously, we're coming up to Christmas. And this one in particular is entitled Flight from Egypt. The artist is the same, and his name was Björn Wienblatt. I think that's right. Danish artist, born in 1919, died in 2006. And you can clearly see from the Christmas themed plate that it's dated and signed. They're actually all signed, but the date is 1979. I think they were all made in that year because they were made in collaboration with a German porcelain manufacturer called Rosenthal, and they were celebrating their 100-year anniversary. So it was in that year, 1979. So Björn Wienblatt was 60 years old when he made these. The one at the top is the more valuable because it is a limited edition and it's hand painted, and if you look at it in more detail you can see that it is particularly intricately and beautifully painted, whereas the Aladdin plates are an unlimited edition, but they were done at the same time with the same sort of celebration in mind.
Working with this adhesive solvent and goop isn't fun at all. It's very smelly and the adhesive turns sticky and messy and requires a lot of effort to clean it up. I generously spread my goo all over the floor and waited for it to work. Even laying it on thick, I couldn't remove it in one go. I'll have to buy more. After using the blunt scraper to remove the thickest of it, I went back over with the bladed scraper. This helped a bit, but really hasn't penetrated all the way through. Sanding the floor seemed like a great idea, but if my experiment with my belt sander is anything to go by, then it could be an expensive exercise constantly replacing sanding pads.
While Rory was scraping the guest suite floor, I was connecting up the electric fencing for the horses' new winter paddock. There's life in our old penny yet. Meanwhile, Harry celebrates with a satisfying roll. The fields behind the barn are rather waterlogged, so the horses are loving their new pasture.
This is a huge mirror. It's bigger than I am, that Jane has ordered, and it's going in the Grand Salon above the fireplace. The fireplace is about that high, so this mirror has to be lifted up higher, held in place, whilst it's fixed to the fixings on the wall. Let's see what it looks like. Sneak peek of the mirror. There are fixings on the wall already from the mirror that was taken away. And we're hoping that we can at least use the bottom fixings to sit the frame on and then adjust the top fixings as necessary to screw to the top. I measured it in the wrong direction. It's going vertically. The scaffolding is here to hopefully help us get the mirror on the wall, the mirror. It's going to be quite a task. Even though the mirror isn't the heaviest mirror in the world, it's still pretty heavy. That mirror is huge, and it's still smaller than the one that it's replacing.
We recently discovered that our senile old spaniel Bonnie had relieved herself on, of all places, our beautiful parquet floor. Obviously we cleaned it up straight away, but any liquid leaves a watermark. Here I'm using a hairdryer to try to evaporate any trapped moisture in the wood. It worked well on one area, but after an hour drying another area, it wasn't that encouraging. However, I later went over it with some mineral oil, and that nourished the wood and deepened the colour. It might need some finessing, but it's certainly better than it was. In case you're wondering, I had no idea that I was wearing 2 hats to go with my scarf and slippers.
So we have to get it from right down like this. Our first effort to lift the mirror was a complete failure. We needed a rethink.
No. No, we can't.
Could you?
The second attempt wasn't much better, almost ending in disaster before we'd started. It was essentially the same plan as the first one, but standing on coffee tables.
You're in the middle.
We didn't even try to lift it.
So I said, are we not going to use the scaffolding? Whereupon I could see the cogs whirring in Rory's head.
Couldn't hold it on itself.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna. Okay. Okay, that's on. Go around and go this one. Okay. Just push it back. That goes it. That goes. You can stop. You can keep your hands there if you're worried about it sliding, but it's not going to fall. So I'm going to try and lift it up, and under here, when I lift it up, you might be able to see a clip. Can't see it yet. I'll lift it up, and you stay left of it, right of it, so the clip's basically roughly in the middle.
Pretty low, okay. Slightly left. One of them said something to do with
Okay, so. It's okay.
Disaster avoided, the next day we received a text to say the hot tub would arrive in half an hour. We, of course, weren't ready.
terms of what they might be worth, well, we're lucky to have the full set of Aladdin plates. I went to a Christmas market yesterday and I'm pretty sure one of those Aladdin plates was on sale for €65. It was definitely one of Björn Windblad's plates, and I couldn't swear that it was one of these, but I think it was. So, you know, some people are selling each one for a fair amount. However, I've also seen the full set of Aladdin plates on sale for €220, the whole set, 12 of them. So they are not on the face of it hugely valuable, but I've seen individual ones for sort of 40, you know, so maybe it's better to sell them individually. In terms of the Christmas one, that is the more valuable item, and I have seen a full set, I think it's a full set, anyway, 7 of the Christmas ones, hand painted, on sale for £1,000. So they're obviously the valuable ones, and there's only one of those, so I don't know how much that's worth, maybe £100 or something like that. But yeah, they're interesting. They're not hugely to my taste, but as with most things, the longer you spend looking at them, the more you admire them and the more interesting they become.
Am I in the right position?
Yes.
Oh, now I'm going to find some to put on the bottom, and then we're done.
The scaffolding had been up for months, waiting for us to fix the mirror, but at last we could remove it. I'd been on the phone for hours chasing a furniture delivery which had finally arrived. Now we had to unpack it and see how it fitted the space. Lastly, we had to throw together some Christmas decorations from what we could find in the chateau, as we had guests arriving for supper, and we were able to show them into the salon for pre-dinner drinks. We've dreamt about this room being furnished and finished enough for us to welcome guests, and now it is. Bunty's dreams, however, have quite a different flavour.
If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing and checking out some of our other videos.